Hello, everyone. This is Nurse Blue, and Blue stands for Build, Love, Unite, and Empower people about my favorite subject, hopefully soon to be yours, soul health. So this channel is for anyone that is currently struggling with chronic stress, and maybe that chronic stress has led to a disease, and maybe like many people on planet Earth, you want to reverse that chronic disease naturally and you're looking for ways to do so. Well, then give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because I am your girl and soul health is your solution. So let's deal with one of the biggest contributors to chronic stress in our society. This one is a big one. And this one is a big one for me personally because I learned to live with this lethal toxin for many years, not even realizing how much harm I was doing in my life and also how much I myself was the perpetrator. So I want to introduce you to this really big culprit and creating chronic stress within your body that we all need to get rid of. Now, if you've been following me for quite some time, I am the nurse that believes that joy is a medicine for the body. Why do I believe that? Because it's in the Bible. And because it's mentioned 430 times in the Bible, I wanted to see if this thing called joy could really help us naturally if we activated it. And I promise you, it has been phenomenal what it has been able to do for myself and for those who I help with this whole concept of raising the vibrational frequency of your soul. So let's start here. You are a spiritual being, right? You may not know that. You might be calling yourself a human being. Well, you're multidimensional. So you're human, but you're first at the core spiritual. And because you are a spiritual being, you have a soul. Now, that soul is made up of 3 parts because you're so magnificently made. You may not know this information, but if you really want to defeat chronic stress, then here is your day. Here's the day that you are going to learn that the soul is made up of 3 parts. One is called your subconscious mind. That's where the real beliefs that you have for your life, that's where they're stored, okay? Also, your emotional body. Now, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is one of my favorite neuroscientists and researchers on planet Earth, he has helped thousands of people to reverse conditions, right, that traditional medicine are still trying to figure out. He has clearly indicated that emotions are energy in motion. So that's the second part of your soul. And then the third one is your will. Now, your will, that's where we build our patterns of behavior. It's also our actions. And when all 3 of those components, the subconscious mind, the emotional body, and our will are in alignment with each other, then you are in spiritual integrity. And that means you're probably living your best life. Chronic stress may not be the number 1 problem in your life, but when you're not in alignment in terms of your soul, your emotional being, your emotional state, and your will, then that's when Nurse Blue is here to help rescue you from that state because you're not living your best life. So let me expose one of the culprits to your chronic stress. Have you ever heard of cognitive dissonance? Okay, let me give you a little bit of the background on cognitive dissonance. So back in the 1950s, there was this researcher, and I am looking at my notes, called Leon. His name was Leon Fessinger. And he stated that cognitive dissonance happens when we say one thing. So we have a belief that we're holding, right? And our actions are totally opposite than what our belief is. Okay, so it creates tension in the body, it creates anxiety and discomfort. That's called stress. So it's when we say one thing and we do another. It takes us out of spiritual integrity because we're spiritual beings. So it takes our soul out of alignment. And because we're out of alignment with what we're saying, which is this is a creative tool, what we're believing and what we're doing, then we're out of alignment. And what most people don't realize is that a lot of us stay in a state of cognitive dissonance for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to give you some real easy examples. Maybe you're a person that says, I believe that health is good health matters, okay? Or everyone should work hard to improve their health, but you're also the one that clearly doesn't exercise. You are addicted to eating poorly. And maybe, your lifestyle overall is just out of balance, right? But you're saying one thing, but you're doing another. That's an example. And I am not here judging you. We all have been there, okay? Maybe you are a mom like myself and you have a middle schooler. And, I'm helping my daughter navigate these middle school streets because, honey, middle school can be pretty rough because it's filled with cognitive dissonance. So my daughter was telling me the other day that she was talking on the phone with a friend, and as she was talking to one of her friends, the very next day she goes to school, and this same friend gets around other friends and pretends like they weren't talking for a few hours the night before, starts acting as if she doesn't matter. And it confused my daughter. I was like, oh, she operates in cognitive dissonance, right? That's another example. Or maybe perhaps you have dated someone, or maybe you're in the process of dating someone, right? And on the outside, they look wonderful. They treat you well. You're enjoying your conversations. You've dated a few times. And it seems like maybe this is the one you've been looking for, right? And then a few months later, you find out that Mr. or Mrs. Great, they're harshly criticizing you. They are invalidating you. You don't feel comfortable around them. They're saying one thing, they're doing another, and you're like, oh boy. And if you're dating a narcissist, cognitive dissonance is the number one weapon. Okay, so let me tell you why cognitive dissonance is so harmful to your body. Okay, first of all, it's a form of verbal violence. So if you're saying something to yourself and you're doing something that is not in alignment with your saying, inside of yourself, you are maybe unconsciously eroding your self-esteem, because our self-esteem is built by us showing up for ourselves. By saying something and doing it, you begin to build confidence. So if you're saying things and you are not doing what you say, then it is impacting your self-esteem and your self-worth. I need you to stop that, okay? All right, let's get in alignment with what we want, because alignment is what helps you defeat chronic stress. Okay. Also, another thing it does, it confuses the subconscious mind. Especially if you have someone in your life that's telling you one thing, but their habits or their behavior is different. Like they're saying something out of their mouth, but their nonverbal communication is indicating that it's totally different. Well, it's confusion for your subconscious mind and your emotional body. And there are times when that person who I'm talking about, it could be your parents, it could be your siblings, so someone close to you, it could be somewhere at work, right? Where, you're looking around your job and it has these signs that says equal opportunity employer, but you don't feel like you're being treated as if they are an equal opportunity employer, right? And that can go into a whole lot of different things. But the bottom line is, when you're feeling those conflicts within, it's a disruption to your peace, right? So that's what chronic stress is. And I don't want you learning how to navigate or cope with. No, you have to defeat chronic stress. So how do we defeat chronic stress? Deal with the cognitive dissonance. So let's first deal with the cognitive dissonance within yourself, okay? It all comes back to you being aware, right? Taking responsibility. Think about, what are the things that you're saying to yourself about yourself? Are your actions and your behavior supporting that what you're saying? Okay, right? If you believe in having great experiences in your life and supporting your health with meaningful, healthy relationships, then why are you making an excuse of having people in your life who don't treat you well? Okay, because inside, if something is uncomfortable for you, but maybe to save face, or maybe because you want to give this relationship an opportunity to show you something different, Or, maybe for whatever reason, you know that the other person has a problem, but you're not willing to do what you need to do to address it with them. Or when you address it with them, they automatically make you the problem. Okay, so here's how we can deal with all of this. Be honest with yourself, okay? So being honest with yourself means either change the belief, okay? Change the behavior if you're going to keep the belief, all right? But if you remain in any relationship with self or others that keeps you confused about the actions and the words, understand that that is elevating your stress. Now, for many years, I maintained relationships with people who I knew very well, I loved, I called them friends, maybe they were family, and then we were in a state of cognitive dissonance. And let me also say, I was also a person who may have said things and did not own them and operated. So I am as guilty as anybody else. What did I do? I changed my behavior, okay? Now, if you choose to stay in those relationships, and a lot of people do, these are some of the things that they do to cope, because that's what you have to do. You have to cope with living a lie. Oftentimes, that coping may result in you overeating because you're trying to feel comfortable inside. It's an uncomfortable place. It may result in you adopting a bad habit like smoking or drinking or taking an anti-anxiety pill, because being in this state of cognitive dissonance is so uncomfortable that you feel anxious, right? It can result in distractions like playing video games all the time, or addiction to social media, because these are distractions to help you cope with living in a state of cognitive dissonance. Well, I want you to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth you doing that? Well, if in fact you are ready to trade in living a life that is filled with tension and stress that's impacting your health, it could be resulting in a diagnosis in the future, because that's why stress is the number one killer, because it can lead to disease. I want you to ask yourself, is it worth it? And if you say no, it's not worth it, then here's what I want you to do. First and foremost, I want to help you understand that joy will save you. Okay, joy will save you. So if you're ready to start elevating your frequency out of this state of coping with lies, fear, anger, shame, guilt, and you want to elevate the vibrational frequency of your soul, good. I'm so excited for you. I want you to click the link that will lead you to a few things that I can help, that I have to serve you. First and foremost, if you are in need of a strategy, or you're looking for a coach, you're looking for someone who's been there, done that, and is also do this for a living, where I help people defeat chronic stress and start living the life that you truly want to live, then I will encourage you to schedule a one-on-one free consultation with myself, okay? So beyond that, I'm also going to encourage you to come and check me out on Clubhouse for the I Deserve Joy party. I am a musicologist, and I have some great music, all designed to help you shift that vibrational state, shift you into a vibrational state of joy. And if you've never been a part of a great wellness party, you need to come and be a part of it. So when you click that link, you can go ahead and download the Clubhouse app. It's free, and join us for one of the parties. And also, I would love to invite you to check out the Soul Health and Wellness Club, because if you've been living in a state of cognitive dissonance, you might need a club which is filled with a community of people who have been there, that have done that, and who's defeating chronic stress. And you need tools, you need resources, you need coaching to support you in releasing all that does not serve your best life, so that you can begin to live your best life. Okay? All right, guys. So hopefully all of this was helpful to you. Cognitive dissonance is not anything that you need to be coping with. No, cognitive dissonance is your enemy. And I promise you, once you begin to start embracing the truth of who you are, then you can start holding a standard for other people as well. And then that will lead you to the joy that you need and you deserve for your body. Okay, so hope all that helped you. I hope all of this was very helpful to you. Again, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I can't wait to share another interesting video that will support you on your path to living your best life. Bye-bye.